Okay. So it's been a couple days. Um, well, I guess I uploaded the attempt yesterday. Yeah. Uh, I think today I kind of just want to talk about, my past a bit more, kind of get that out there, out of my, mind. I, uh, I think I want to talk about my childhood. Um, I know we don't have a lot of room to complain about it. Um, a lot of people had it a lot worse than I did. Um, but, I guess I can kind of just start from the beginning. Um, so, uh, when I was born, 3 months before I was born, um, my biological father kind of just dipped. The reason I always got was I didn't know about it until much later, but when I did ask after I found out about him, um, apparently, I guess my mom and him fought a lot, and he didn't want me to grow up in an environment where there was a lot of fighting. I mean, not that not that it really did much, um, but um, so yeah, when they split up, I guess my mom didn't take it too well. She's always kind of had a fear of being alone or something, and so I guess she went kind of hog wild. Like, she would tell me stories about how she would go out bar hopping and and flashing people for shots. You know, it's kind of how my mom's relationship was with me. Like, I was her firstborn. She loves me very much. Um, was she the best mom? At times, no. Um, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I guess we could just kind of focus on one thing at a time. Talk about my mom. So, very lovely woman, very intelligent. She's a wonderful nurse. Went to school for fucking years. I think it was like 7 years she went to get her RN while raising two boys. Um, so, I mean, she did the best she could. Um, she has this problem where, let me unplug that, where, um, she gets, like, every rare, like, it seems like if there's something out there that, like, hardly affects anyone, it affects my mom. Like, she had Kienbach's disease, which is super fucking rare. At the time she got it, um, she, like, was Googling it, and there was, like, two things on it at all. So basically, uh, the bone in your wrist, or in your forearm, is a few inches too long, and, kills your wrist. The cartilage and stuff in your wrist. And, I remember she just woke up from a nap one day and couldn't feel her wrist. And we originally thought that maybe she had just broke it, but no. And over time, she started to hurt really bad. I know she was in a cast for a while, and they put her on a lot of pain medicine. Like a lot. And she was trying to, she was trying to work as a nurse. She was trying to bring in money for her family. And she's always been a bit of a workaholic. Like, if she's not working, she's sleeping. But she's mainly just working. But, they got her on all these pain medications, and she got hooked. You know, One incident really stood out to me. It's like one of the worst, things between me and her. One night, it's hard to explain without a lot of context, but that would take forever to do in just one sitting. She I had insomnia real bad growing up. There was a lot of turmoil in the household, and I always stayed up to make sure that nothing happened that I couldn't get in the middle of to stop or whatever. And so one night I was awake pretty late. Then I heard my mom stumble out of the bedroom, and I decided to follow her. I was good. I was a little further than arm's length away, following her down the stairs, and she was stumbling so hard she kept telling me to stop pushing her. And I told her I wasn't touching her. I was a few steps behind, a few stair steps behind. There's no way I could be doing that. And she got down. I think she slipped at the bottom of the stairs. Just kind of hit the final two stairs. Got back up and went into the kitchen. And we had this medicine cabinet where my pills were, where her pills were. And she grabbed a bottle and took a pill, put it back. I was watching her. And she goes to the bathroom and comes back and immediately reaches for the same bottle. I had to have been like 14 or 15. And I see her grab it, and I just grab it out of her hand. Wasn't really thinking, didn't really know what to do from there. But she told me to give it back to her, and I wouldn't. I told her that, she just took that same medication. I can't let her take another one. No. You don't know what you're talking about. I didn't take that one. I took a different one. No. And I was like, Mom, I just saw you take it. Like, I saw you take it. And I remember she was trying to grab it from me. So I kind of tucked it in my stomach and turned my back to her so she couldn't get it. And she used her cast arm. Now, mind you, she had been like a CNA for years. For a scrawny woman, she's always been real fucking tough. But she took her cast arm and basically put me in a chokehold and lifted me up off the floor, yelling at me to give it back to her, that she needed them. And choked me. Felt like fucking hours. I just wouldn't. I couldn't at that point. I just kept telling her no and to please just let me go. Please, that I couldn't breathe. And she was gonna kill me. And it felt like I was there forever. I remember my vision kind of fading, and then she just dropped me. Like she realized what she was doing, and just told me to go back upstairs into my room. And I don't think I'll ever forget the look of pure horror and confusion that I saw. She didn't understand what she was doing. Like, I told myself that, like, she was just in way too deep and couldn't comprehend what she was doing. But I went back upstairs and I cried. I guess my dad, or yeah, I guess it was my stepdad. When I guess he heard all the commotion, and as I was, getting into my room, he comes out and goes downstairs, and I follow him, and he gets her dressed and everything, helps her. And at the time, we did not have the best relationship, me and my dad. Because, I mean, it took a lot of shit to realize that, despite everything he did, he is way more of a father than my biological father will ever be. But, he got her ready, and all I could think was that it was his fault. That, he pushed her to this point that she was just snapping, and, she tried to kill me because he fucking, because he pushed us there. I blamed a lot of things on him. I mean, I was no angel. I was a little fucking shit. But, I just pushed it all on him. And I regret that now. I should have been more mature and realized that, It wasn't just a one-way street, but that's for another time. So he ended up taking her to a mental, to a psych unit. He checked her in, and she was gone for a week. One of the big things that, well, I mean, one of the other things, I guess it wasn't really as big as everything else that was going on, but, he called his mom and had her come by and, watch us while he was gone. I just remember standing in the kitchen, crying, as I couldn't understand why it was happening. And I just kept saying that it was his fault, that he shouldn't be here, right to his mom's face, right to my grandmother's face. I just kept laying into him, to her, and she ended up slapping me and told me not to talk about him like that. I mean, it was pretty fucked of me to talk about her son like that to her face. Pretty bold, one could say. One thing I can say, I never talked shit about him to her again. That definitely taught me. But, yeah, but it wasn't all bad. She tried her best. Like I said at the beginning, she didn't ask for me. I mean, I was even informed that I was accidentally conceived behind a tree at a park. There was a hole in the condom. But that happens. It's not like it's a new occurrence or anything. That's tends to be the story for a lot of people, especially back in my mom's age. But when my biological father dipped out, my mom didn't handle it too well. She would leave me at home for days on end with cereal and shit. Like nothing I could actually consume at the time. And she'd go out bar hopping for, nights and nights, and then come home and fall asleep. My grandma told me once that when I was 3 months old, I think, she came in and she came to my mom's place and pounded on the door, and no one answered, but she could hear me crying. And I guess the door was unlocked, and I was sitting there in a very, very old diaper, very malnourished, and just sitting there, I guess, crying. My mom was in another room, completely passed out, hungover, and my grandma gave her hell. My grandma gave her genuine hell. said or told her. But my earliest memories are of her working at a gas station. And when it was too early she would work real early shifts. Like any shift she could, and it'd be like overnight or something. I remember later on in life, when I had my younger brother, the middle out of the three of us. I remember her waking us up real early and having us grab our pillows and blankets, and like unbelievable hours. I just remember being really, really dark, and she would we'd go to the gas station, and me and my brother would go behind the counter and lay down. We would just sleep behind the counter while my mom worked. Once she really realized the situation she was in, she tried. Like, she gave it her all. Through school, I was bullied a lot. A lot. Like, fights every other day. My mom would have to come in, and she would come in and just talk to the dean, or whoever the fuck it was at the time. And she'd give them hell. She would give them absolute hell. If something was going on, it was always her I talked to. She was always supportive. When I came out, she, as Pan, told her that I was interested in guys and girls, and she was supportive. Whereas my stepdad was very traditional, very no gays, none of that. She was there. She said she wasn't surprised, that it wasn't a big surprise, that it was just kind of something they saw coming. Don't know how, but I guess just a motherly intuition or something like that. And, she gave me her love of music, like she gave me my love of music. Tried to teach me how to sing. Couldn't sing for shit as a kid. But, kind of with her encouragement, she, I stuck with it, and I had a real passion for music. She encouraged me to do orchestra, and, played violin for 5 years. Never really practiced, but, I was able to keep up for the most part. I could read the music at the time. Fucking forgot now. I think that night where my dad took her to the hospital, I think that's kind of where I decided that I'm just not going to do pills anymore. I wasn't like doing pills, they were all prescribed. They prescribed me so many fucking pills. Um, but, that's something else she gave me, I guess, through the experience. I won't touch a pill. Unless I have, an absolute splitting headache. And then I'll take some ibuprofen or something, but I won't. Mm-mm. Um, she was a very mentally fucked up woman. And like I've said before, she passed on a lot of that to me. But I can't really blame her for it. It's not something she could control, and I'm sure if, she'd have the choice, she wouldn't have. But, I love my mom. I do. She was always there for me. Like I said, especially when I had no one else. I wasn't exactly the coolest kid in school. But, I've always had her to talk to, about everything. And in return, she would talk to me about a lot of stuff. She had a gastric bypass when I was younger, when I was a teenager. And, a lot of guys started looking at her a bit different. And I think she enjoyed the attention. She'd flirt back. She'd tell me when she was working at the hospital, she would tell me about how a security guard that worked there would, text her and tell her that, he was watching her through the security cameras, that he loved, just a lot of very detailed things. Shit in hindsight, a kid my age shouldn't be hearing from their mom, especially having to hide it from, your dad. I mean, at the time, I didn't really care for him. I probably wouldn't have said anything. Oh, I didn't say anything. Anyways. But it was a good relationship. It still is, Once I moved out, I didn't really talk to her much for a while. I've been starting to kind of get back into it. Just started to message her, see how she's doing. She's actually filling out apartment applications for me. I've lived in this city my whole life. And, the whole 22 years of it. But, this is how my time in this town ends. In this city, I guess. Just sitting in front of a fire, no real place to call my own. I don't know. Yeah. That's pretty much, wow, this is reaching 30 minutes. This is gonna be a pain in the ass to upload. I guess I better just cut it off here.